White culture, if you could even call it culture, is based in racism. It was a narrative created by colonizers, like my Portuguese ancestors, in order to justify what they were doing to other people on the continent of Africa and even here in North America. And the narrative was that we white people were better than all other races. And they did so through Christianity. They took the Bible and different scripture verses, twisted it around in order to fit the narrative of colonialism and white supremacy, and also the patriarchy. And the patriarchy is white man in power. White supremacy is white man in power. Colonialism is white man in power. And Christianity, for the most part nowadays, is white man in power. There are historical references and proof where the Catholic Church actually said to enslave an African was to save their soul. The kidnapped and enslaved Africans that were here in North America were preached different scripture verses than were actually in the Bible. And that's why they weren't allowed to read. Because if they could read, then they could see that these scripture verses were incorrect and they couldn't be controlled anymore by this white God. And white people, we didn't identify as white until colonialism. We identified as Portuguese, or Latvian, or German, or Italian, or French. But then colonialism came around, and then all of a sudden we became white, and we were superior, because we were the chosen race by God, and the scripture verses proved it. And we had to go into other people's lands and preach the gospel, when really it was all a ruse. It was all an excuse to go in and rape and pillage the land and the people and the cultures. So when I say that white culture is based in racism, it's based in racism. Christianity was the Trojan horse of white supremacy and colonialism. And Western Christianity, as we know today, is still based within superiority. All Christians think that they're better than everybody else. I grew up in it. I'm very familiar with the culture. And it's part of the problem. There's a reason why most of Trump's supporters are Christians. It's because they don't even realize that the conditioning of colonialism and Christianity and the patriarchy is so deeply embedded within them and their identity that they don't even see the truth. Christianity is based in superiority, in white superiority, in white culture, which is all based in racism.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I have a very interesting story to share with you guys about how the white folks, ladies and men are speaking about the damage that has been done by the white people. Guess what? The white folks are the ones speaking about white people, what they have done to the black community by trying to bring them down, by trying to make them feel inadequate, make them feel lesser, and they are beginning to realize that what was done in the past and is still being done must be openly, must be openly spoken against, must be openly rejected, and mention it so that those activities, those behaviors can be reduced. We're in a time whereby all of these trends are becoming like, hey, go ahead and do it. I support you. The present regime looks like it does not really care. Whatever they do, they can do it and they can get away with it. But there are few remnants, few white folks that are saying that this is what has been done, and they are openly acknowledging it, that it is not good for it to continue. It is not good for such a system to be built, and how they've been profiling black and brown people and trying to just make them feel less of themselves. Let me not say more than I have said already, because I've compiled a couple of videos for you guys to watch, and you can watch them to the end. Make sure you watch to the end, because I want your conversation to be constructive. I want you to air your opinion about this If it has happened to you in the past or is happening now, I want to hear your view concerning this. Carry to all content in this video. Guys, don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. Let's go watch it out.
Hi, Black 1000. I answered this a little bit earlier today, but I was going to try to elaborate a little bit. From my experience, because I can't speak for everyone, all white people or their experiences, but from my experience, it was more like taught to fear you than hate you. I was taught that you were dangerous, that you hated white people. I can remember being told that like I couldn't go in certain parts of town because like if I was just walking down the street, I would have been like murdered or raped or something. It was just more like the rhetoric in the background. Part of my white privilege is I can put down my anti-racist torch and like not think about this because it's not negatively affecting me. In that, we also have white privilege in our racism because we don't have to carry it around all the time. It's not like front of mind. It's not like I was constantly being berated with like bad rhetoric about black people. It's always just like in the background, like being reinforced with, you know, racist jokes or racist comments about people or, you know, using racial slurs to degrade people. So it still happens today. I'm like, there's a park by my house and they have public events for like Easter. They'll have an Easter egg hunt, but we go to them and it's predominantly black people that attend. And I will have white people in my life when they'll be like, oh, what are you doing Saturday? I'm like, oh, we're going up to the park by our house. And they're like, you know, it gets really dark around there, which is now like code for there's too many black people. Or they'll be like, oh, it's really going to be really dark there. So why don't you go over to this part of town, to that park? And I'm just like, yeah, we've been many times. We enjoy it. That's why we're going. But it's just that constant like thread through like theme throughout. And I feel like some of that doesn't answer the question as to like why people feel that way. But again, it's just been ingrained in us since children to fear you, which easily turns to hate, right? If you are scared of them and think that they're going to like threaten your way of life or threaten your well-being, then you are going to hate them. And it's wild. And I'm trying to break down these barriers. I really just want people to see like push back on those thoughts, peel back the onion a little bit. Like, why do you have these thoughts? Where did they come from? Are they rooted in fact? Are they rooted in your experiences? And I've said this before, but when you isolate yourself away from a group that you have hatred for, whether it's black people or the LGBTQIA community or the trans community or Muslims or whoever, when you don't have actual experiences with these people on a regular basis, it is easy to continue to believe the bullshit that you've been told because you don't have anything to judge it against except for believing people you love and trust in your life that have told you these things. So more than anything, I encourage white people to engage with these communities, make friends, have experiences, build your own narrative. So at least it's built on something real and just not something that you've been told that's been passed down through generations that have been built on hate.
You know, if all I ever did was call out racist, more specifically racist white women, I'd have no shortage of content. Whether it's the woman in her feelings because black-owned businesses exist and she's not the target demographic, even though never have I ever seen a black-owned business say, you can't shop here, when in the not too distant past, we did see white-owned businesses say that, which is why black-owned businesses had to exist in the first place. Or the woman, upon hearing, dear white women, is so internally offended that she felt the need to rebut, not understanding that in that moment, what a black woman is doing is trying to give her a perspective that she's never going to get on her own. Because, newsflash, She's not black. It doesn't matter your proximity to blackness, you're never gonna fully understand the black experience. And that in that moment, all you need to do is shut the fuck up and listen. And if it applies, take it. If it doesn't, just let it go. Because of the thousands of things that you'll see on the internet every day, not everything is for you or about you. And if it's not about you, it doesn't require a response. So in short, if it applies, take it. If it doesn't, be like Elsa. Let it go.
Dear white people, white women in particular, but white people in general, and if you're not white, please feel free to listen. I don't think that you really realize how frustrating it is to be in any kind of a space with you, because you suck up all the air in the room and don't want us to have any. And yet we breathe anyway, we thrive anyway, and it seems to upset you. But that's because we're magical. Black people are magical. I say it all the time. I truly believe that. And I think that you know it, and that's part of the jealousy that in general white people have about black people, which wants to hold us down, keep our history out of the books, not want us to shop in your store after we spend $600, not want us to play roles that we are magnificently wonderful at. It is difficult. And then you call yourselves our ally, but we know that you don't even understand what that means. And I say it's not because you are some of you are not intentionally racist. You are not intentionally being unkind, but I know, and I've learned this from the one white woman that I feel safe around, that you, and I've heard it from many white women, but you were raised to be nice, not to be kind, not to be caring, not to up-level all people, but to be nice and to get along and to do what the man said for you to do. And we don't live like that. And I don't understand it, and I don't want to participate with it. I just think white people need to be better, and being better means being more internal and connected with your inner selves, your inner lives, that part of you that is your intuitive guidance, that part of you that is the goodness and the kindness that you were born with, but has been manipulated out of you in order to hold another down. But you can't hold us down. You don't see that yet? I think it frustrates you. But we're good. Black people are good right now more than ever before. But I just ask you to be better. White people, be better. Not for me, not for us, but for yourselves, because the world is changing. Every culture in this country has gained a greater sense of pride. Their crowns are on straight, and you keep looking over there when everybody else is looking at the big picture. You're going to wake up in a world that you do not even recognize because you did not help to participate in it, in its building. But that's on you. Nothing I can do about it, but I'm just putting a little message out because I care about everybody. I care that the world is a better place because I know that's the energy that we're moving into. Whether you can see it or not, we're moving into a vibration of better, kinder, more compassion. That's where I am. Join me.
Man, I tell you what, nothing makes racist white people more pissed off than me, a white person, trying to educate about racism and trying to educate about what white privilege is and all these things. And it's so funny because these same people will argue with me till they are blue in the face about how they're not racist and we don't live in a racist institution and black and brown people have it so easy and racism doesn't exist anymore. But then they will turn around and say the most racist, ignorant, vile shit you've ever heard in your life. The disconnect is amazing. And this is why I make content like this, because it's so important, because we do live in a racist institution and we are all raised in racism as white people. This is simply a fact. And the crazy part about it is every one of us knows this. Even the ones who will sit there and fight with me to the death about it and act like it doesn't exist. Y'all know white people are racist. Y'all know about the casual racism, the casual microaggressions that we are raised in, no matter where we live in this United States of America. And this is why I will never stop. I will never stop trying to educate as a white person about racism and how we need to learn. We need to evolve. We need to do better. It's almost as if they feel like admitting to a racist institution or admitting to racism makes them this evil, terrible person. And so they would rather double down than to grow and be a good person. And that's so bad, because all that says to me is that you have a small mind and a cowardly soul. And I wish better for you than that, truly, because everything in your life will get better when you stop being so ignorant.
Truth be told, from what we have watched, from the videos that we have watched, we can see that white women, men are coming out to blatantly go against the norm, the rhetorics that has been written about black people by the self-same white people. You know, I'm very sure we listened to the elderly woman who was speaking about the genesis of how it is virtually impossible for a white person not to be partial and racial. So because when they go to school, they subtly, gently, quietly imbibe that into them. That it will take you extra effort, extra schooling of yourself. When I say schooling, education of yourself, not because you're going to university or, by consciously unlearning what has been deposited into you. Especially when you have a parent that does not believe in being, racial or being, partial. They take extra effort to unlearn, to debunk, to erase those memories, those subtle teachings and learnings that has been passed into the child when they were growing up. And some also said that even parents sometimes are the ones that are indirectly imbibing into these children, teaching the children subtly to be racial. And this is what everyone has come to agree. Every white folks, the fact remains that we have a lot of beautiful, lovely white folks that does not support this, and they are speaking against this. And they are saying that if America is going to be great, it requires the effort of both white, black, brown, and everybody to come together and build a system that, because of this mindset, America is having a setback. America is deteriorating because of these views, of this behavior that it's a white supremacy, with white privilege. We own this country, so the laws have to be enacted to favor us only. We are all that matters. And that is what is bringing America down on its knees, because a lot of things are happening to America right now. When it comes to respect and regard, countries are saying, America, we're done. And it looks like the empire, the name, the strength, the power is collapsing. It looks like America is no longer what it used to be, because a lot of people are getting tired of the rhetorics, getting tired of the fact that the leader will call a country and be talking down on the same president that is at the same level with you. That is what this present administration has been doing. You call countries. The last one happened with the Ukraine president, when he called and he was like, he didn't dress well, didn't do this, and they were asking him questions just to bring him down. These are the things that people are talking about America, and it looks as if the system is breaking down. They're losing their value, they're losing their strength, they're losing their respect. Why? Because it has not been checked, and people are saying it is time for everybody to come together so that the value and the respect that America once had can be regained. And this is the true Make America Great Again that people are talking about, not the one that the Republican Party and the few guys are talking about, because that one is it is born out of selfish reasons and motive, just to subjugate and suppress people of colors. And guys, let me know what your view and your perception is concerning this interesting topic, because I want to hear you and hear what you have to say. Have you experienced Have you experienced this that I'm talking about in any way or the other, or you have been the one that has expressed this to people, suppress them, make them feel lesser of themselves? Let the conversation begin, and I think we need to begin to address this so that we can let everybody know that this is not a way to live or be with people or relate with people, because it is not the best. It does not allow a country to progress. You may progress for a while, but after a short period of time, the country will have a nosedive, because everybody will not have regard for the country. Everybody will want to leave the country. Everybody will want to say, we are not proud of this. We don't want to be part of this. And every quota that has been contributed to the country is very important. And when everybody's removing, excluding themselves, it has side effects. Thank you guys for watching. I want your views and observations to start pouring in, because this is why I am here. Thank you guys. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and give the video a thumbs up and share the video, because we need to go by educating people that this is not the way to go. This video, this platform is primarily for educating and for enlightening of people, not to cast any aspersions. Thank you. Bye-bye.